Well, hello there. My name is Brenda Williams, and I'm a womanist cultural strategist and convener, founder of Culture Shift Hers Unite, the host of Soul of a Lead Her for She Who Lives and Works from the Soul, and the Brenda Williams Show. And today I want to talk about probably a more intimate conversation because faith is something that is so personal. But I wanted to name something really clearly today in that faith is not a formula. But for many of us, we're taught to treat it like it is. That if we behave, if we act, if we believe, if we do, then there's an outcome. And what we are taught oftentimes is something like this. If I do the right things, if I say the right things, if I'm in the right posture, then the right things will happen. And then faith becomes a system, a formula, conditions, a transaction. Do this, receive that. Well, I want to challenge that a bit here because that's not how faith works. Good people can struggle, but and even when we say things like, well, why do bad things happen to good people? And I think that there is a part in that where we have to acknowledge systems. We have to acknowledge oppressive systems. We have to acknowledge all of the isms and schisms, the bigotry, the Islamophobia, the xenophobia, the anti-Semitism, the wars, the genocides that have unfolded on our planet, the ways in which certain school systems have all of the resources, right, and others do not. And is it because they're good people? Is it because they earned it on merit, some celestial merit? Or is it because their infrastructures or lack thereof in certain neighborhoods and among certain groups of people? And that response times often lag. So let's really kind of parse this out just a bit and look at faithful people, even in uncertainty. And even when you're aligned, things can still feel unclear. And so when the formula doesn't work, or perhaps the real tension lies in we don't question the formula, we begin to question ourselves. Am I something wrong? Did I do something wrong? The shift. So the shift that I want to invite us into, what if faith was never meant to be transactional? And what if perhaps it was always meant to be relational, that we are to be in relationship with the all that there is, with our higher power, with our source, with ourselves. And so I want to define this difference. So transactional spirituality says, what do I do to get the blessing? Right? So how do I get to the next level? It's almost like we're playing a video game. And so there's like levels to achieve, right? There's things that we do, that there's a prescription. I want to invite us into relational spirituality. And so how do we cultivate relationship? Even if we don't understand everything that's unfolding or what's happening, we fortify ourselves and move into a relational spiritual practice. And so what does that look like? Well, presence. How do we become present with the presence? Whether that's through prayer, meditation, song, poetry. How do we get still and find, because we don't have to seek it, it's always there, become attuned to and aware of the presence. Listening. How do we incline our ear, our spiritual ear, to hear, to witness? So for some of us, depending on your learning style, your awareness, your natural dispositions, right? God is going to speak to us differently. And even for some of us, the name that we put on it, God, source, universe, the all there is. There's in some traditions, like the Islamic tradition, God has 99 names. What's one more? So how we even call God, and maybe if it's even something more personal, for me, it's divine beloved, lover of my soul. So it can get real personal depending on the name that you put on it. But then there's the listening, like I said, and then there's the trust. And that part, that's where the rub is. Trusting something that is unseen, that is beyond all human comprehension, yet is nearer to us in our own hands and feet and closer to us than our next breath. And let's do that. Hold it, sigh it out. Another deep breath. Hold it, sigh it out. Deep breath. Hold it, sigh it out. And see how that can bring us back into coherence, how that can be a place of calibration. And not just when things make sense, but especially when they don't. So, personal grounding. What I'm learning in real time is staying in relationship with God, staying in relationship with myself, and staying in relationship with life, because it's not linear. It can change in a moment, in an instant. There can be things that we have to bring our awareness to, with our teams, with production schedules and timelines, right? It's all relative and it's all subjective. And we always are managing, right, competing priorities. So what I really want to tie into, which I think is really important, is this is how I think about relationship. It's not control and it's not performance. It is in relationship with people, with community, with what's unfolding. And I want to invite you into this. If anything that I said here resonates with you, I invite you to join me on my Substack, because this is where we go deeper. We go into more formation and contemplation, but also real life strategies to help you attune to and getting to your own still point where you can hear, because presence is the key. There is so much right now on our planet to keep us distracted in real time. Our social media algorithms, particularly those who are of the political persuasion, of the social justice work. There are so many things to keep us outraged and to have us distorted and disconnected from ourselves and from each other. Becoming pessimistic and increasingly cynical is also very easy to do. And then, of course, wherever it is that we find in ourselves and our leaderships, right, where we know that consistently certain funding sources are constantly eroded, perhaps even ourselves, our internal environment becomes shaky. I invite you to join us on Substack, because it's not just a monologue, it's a conversation. It is a place to source ourselves and to be in contemplation with one another. That's my home base, and this is where I do a lot of my writings and where I process in real time. And I'd love, love, love for you to join me there. So again, if anything resonates with you, please join us on Substack. And as I close, I'm curious, what has been your relationship with faith? And what have you for sure, this is my lesson in the season. This is what I'm being taught. Not what I know, not what I think, but what I know, rather. What is forming in you right now? I'd love to hear about it. All right, my name is Brenda Williams. I'm a womanist convener, cultural strategist, and founder of Culture Shift Hers Unites, host of the Soul of a Leader, the podcast, and the Brenda Williams Show. All right, beautiful people. I am inviting you into a deeper dialogue with me. All right, bye for now.